Welcome back to American Agenda. Let's talk about the recent chaos surrounding the Biden campaign and happening still
Before our very eyes.
in the room there with KJP, the Democrat Party reaction.
That's right.
Yes.
Even after nearly 2 weeks of criticism and lots of press briefings, and repeated calls to drop out from many liberal elites and beyond, almost all high-ranking Democratic officials are either keeping mum or are publicly defending President Biden.
Here is Senator Bernie Sanders making his case for the president recently.
Biden is old. He's not as articulate as he once was. I wish he could jump up the steps on Air Force One. He can't. What we have got to focus on is policy. Whose policies have and will benefit the vast majority of the people in this country.
All right, and just to note there, Bernie Sanders is 82 years old.
He still speaks sharply, though.
Exactly, just a little
There's no
comparison
question there.
And I think of Nancy Pelosi as well, and Clyburn, and anyway. All right, but in spite of so much public support, the private battle among Democrats is reportedly less unified. Earlier today, after a private meeting of top Democratic lawmakers, Representative Steve Cohen emerged saying some in the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee now want President Biden to withdraw.
Joining us now to discuss the Republican congressman from the great state of Wisconsin, Congressman Derek Van Orden. Congressman, good to see you.
It's good to see you, too.
Give us the inside scoop between your Democratic colleagues. What is actually being discussed? Can you tell us? Do you know?
It was startling today because it looked like about one half of the chamber and the House floor, it looked like all their dogs got run over by a car today. The Democrats are in absolute disarray. They're moping around. They're paranoid. They're looking over their shoulder all the time because for the first time since I've been in Congress, the press is actually asking them very difficult questions and following up on those questions. So the Democrat Party is not used to the mainstream media holding them accountable. And so it's a great thing to see as a Republican, my Democrat colleagues actually having to answer and stand up for what they believe in and say things publicly on the record and not base their decisions on emotion. It's fantastic to see, and I think it's actually going to be good for the country.
It's a great point. And even as journalists, Bob and I have been seeing the same thing in those press briefings. A lot of the liberal media now asking those tough questions, as you pointed out, because you can't ignore it. I want to get your thought on that a little more broadly. House Speaker Mike Johnson has said that and accused the administration of launching having a great cover-up, saying they all knew that this president was compromised. Tell us more about what your colleagues are saying about that in the Capitol.
Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, is absolutely correct. Listen, the press knew, the Democrat oligarchy knew, their major donors knew, the entire cabinet knew, including the vice president, that Joe Biden has cognitively declined to the point where he is incapable of leading this country. If you remember a while ago, they found those cards. Someone took a picture of a reporter, or of a card that the president had the reporter's face and the questions that the reporter was going to ask the president. And they kind of blew that off and said, this is nothing. Well, that's not normal. The White House just said that they're not going to send questions to reporters to ask the president any longer. They never should have been doing that to begin with, but the press knew that they've been doing this for years. So, in fact, there has been a massive cover-up by the mainstream media, the cabinet, other members of the government, and the Democrat oligarchy covering for the president of the United States. And that should terrify everybody, because if we are attacked by a foreign adversary, you have about 6 minutes to make a decision on whether or not to push a button that could potentially destroy the entire planet. And I'm old enough to remember the Cold War. So the stakes are real and they are high, and it's time that we do something about this.
It's an excellent point, Congressman. We are out of time, but just to your point, the Biden administration, or rather the campaign, of course, saying democracy will end if you re-elect Donald Trump. But as you pointed out, it seems like we're seeing democracy challenged right before our very eyes. All right, Congressman Van Orden, thanks for your insight and for being with us.
You bet. Take care.
Okay, stick with us, folks. There's more American Agenda coming up.